welcome back to World of Tanks with the Captain. Today I'm going to be taking out the line of British heavy tanks that extend past the Churchill. This is the post-Churchill era review of the Black Prince, the Caearnarvon, and the Conqueror. So that's tier 7, tiers 8, and tiers 9. So starting with the Black Prince, you get a tank that is a lot more similar to all of the other tanks you're used to at this point. That being the Churchill line of tanks that have pretty decent front armor if you angle properly. They're extremely slow, and they have fast-firing, moderate penetration guns that do feeble amounts of damage. So that's kind of what it typifies the Black Prince. Like, it's got pretty decent armor for a tier 7 tank that holds up fairly well against tier 7s and some tier 8s. Maybe not so much against other tanks that are like tier 9. They kind of can just shoot right through you no matter what. So you don't have maybe the armor against the later tiers, but it's still a fun tank on certain maps. So I'm just trying to be pretty careful here. I'm got about 170 pen. Gun does about 150 as far as damage goes. And there's lots of stuff to shoot at here, which is just fantastic. That is a T-43. Back there we've got a Tiger. Tiger greatly known for having terrible armor. And just as I say that, I bounce. Pretty sure he's not facing me, so should be able to penetrate the back of his turret pretty damn easy. We got IS. I'm gonna try and keep him tracked here, shooting the outside of his drive wheel. Maybe even his tracks. And then he gets pounded by artillery. Things are looking pretty good at this point. 6-3. Now I know what tank's firing at me. The T-43 doesn't really have the greatest amount of pen, so you don't give him too much to shoot at. Odds are he can't pen you too well. SU-100's got 175 pen, so again, he's going to have issues penetrating you as well. And back at base, we happen to have a KV-3, one of my other favorite tier 7 tanks. So he's got full hit points, I've got about 1,000 hit points, and at this point, playing the trading game probably wasn't going to work too great, so I had to be sort of smart about what I was doing. So I dropped back, switched to APCR, because I probably needed to pen every single shot to be able to kill this guy, because I didn't have any help. Things don't start off too good. I take a pretty big hit from this KV-3, and I'm going to shoot him in the lower plate. And now I'm going to try and get a little bit hull down if I can. Probably not going to get to that spot, but my armor holds up. And now I'm just going to try and shoot at weak spots. So that upper plate, and he's not angling at all. That's where I'm going to try and be shooting in here. Managed to bounce another shot on him. And I'm going to keep pumping shots through the front of him. There's another one. Again, only doing 150 damage. It takes quite a while to be able to kind of bash people down. So get another shot into him. And I'm still trying to keep my armor a little bit angled. Got one more shot into him. Now I'm trying to give him not too much to shoot at here. Managed to bounce another shot. Bounce that shot because I ran out of APCR. And eventually managed to kill him there. And way back in the back we've got a T-25-2, and will I get it? Nope. Not quite. 38 hit points left. And then he gets taken out by artillery. So this is a pretty fun game in the Black Prince. Ended up doing like 3,300, almost 3,400 damage. And the armor held up pretty damn well, even though I was down to 240 hit points. I ended up soaking up over 3,000 in just bounced shots, stuff that wasn't aimed properly enough. So as you can see, the weak spots on the Black Prince are so if you shoot at the flat spots, odds are you're going to be able to pen it. The lower plate isn't that hard to pen either. So if you're going to shoot this thing, shoot there. But when you're angled like this, the tracks end up eating a lot of shots. And the turret's actually quite tough as well, unless you can get the side. So for the most part, Black Prince is a pretty fun tank. And I did sell it, but it's a tank I'm considering maybe buying back again at some point, just so I have more tier 7s in my garage. And next on the list, we are going to take a look at the Caearnarvon. This is the tier 8 British heavy tank. This is the one with the super accurate gun. It aims super quick. It's the B-barrel 20-pounder. The gun is 100 times different from the Black Prince. You kind of get medium-ish tank sort of mobility. Your turret turns pretty quick. You got good gun depression. You've got good frontal turret armor. The frontal armor on the upper plate's decent, but the lower plate isn't very strong. You take module damage pretty easy. It kind of typifies the Caearnarvon. It's a kind of tank that works with my playstyle, because it's a fast-firing, high-penetration, medium kind of damage sort of tank, which kind of works with how I play. So as you can see, you can just keep popping up and shooting people. And the difference between this battle and other battles that I'll be showing is that this one's a team battle that I ended up doing. So mostly fighting tanks of my same tier. And that's a Centurion down there. Ended up taking a hit from that VK, and it killed my driver, even though it only did about 70 damage. So as you can see, the gun depression works really good. You can pop over these sorts of hills, and you can pretty much guarantee that you'll be able to shoot at whatever's there. So again, putting shots into the Centurion. Mindful that I don't really want to get shot by that VK. Get shot by a couple guys on the other side of the map, unfortunately. And the thing I like best about the Caearnarvon is the aim time is fantastic. With so many other tanks, you have to wait for so long, and this thing's 1.9 seconds, which I really, really like. And I aimed at the little hatch on the front of the IS-6 and was able to pen it no problem. And now I've got targets like the Tiger II from far away, so I actually switched to APCR. Probably, it's marginal that I need to. I probably could have penned him without them. But in team battle games, you, for the most part, if you want to win, you kind of have to shoot APCR a lot of the time. And this was practicing for league type stuff. Definitely didn't need APCR to shoot at this 5100, but at the end of the day, it wasn't really about that. It was just about playing. It wasn't really about ammo selection, because in team battles, it's not really, doesn't really matter. So put a shot into that Tiger II, and then the crows descend on the rest of the team over there. And a lot of people don't think that the Caearnarvon is a team battle worthy tank. If you look at all the research and what all the I guess you would call it the meta for team battles is, the Caearnarvon can't be used because it's not as good as an IS-3 and blah 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 blah, which is pretty much the go-to tank for team battles as far as heavy tanks go. But I honestly think in a lot of situations that the Caearnarvon's better than an IS-3. I don't find the IS-3's armor in the front holds up any better than a Caearnarvon's does, and this thing has a turret that in a lot of cases actually is a lot more useful. It's still bouncy, it gives you better gun depression, your view range is better, you're more accurate, you aim faster, and you can pump out damage just as fast. Like, I really like this tank, and maybe on a map like Himmelsdorf it's not as competitive as an IS-3, but in other maps where you can get very hull down or where you get hilly terrain, this tank is a lot more versatile and useful than some of the other heavy tanks that aren't maybe as versatile as this. So next we'll take a look at the tier 9 Conqueror. And for those that were wondering, the damage I outputted in that team battle was about 2,500, and I led the team. So now we're in the Conqueror, and as you can see, it has exactly the same hull as the Caearnarvon, so you don't get an upgrade in armor really. Your turret isn't super strong either. The cheeks here and here can get penetrated really, really easy. Conqueror kind of needs an armor buff on the turret. It's a little bit too weak in my opinion, considering that the hull armor is so weak. and it's not anywhere near as mobile as an IS-8. It doesn't do more damage than an IS-8. It pretty much relies just on being extremely accurate and aiming extremely fast while still doing 400 damage. So that's kind of the thing with the Conqueror. It's a good sniping tank. It's not really a heavy tank. It can heavy and bully maybe tier 7s, but when you run into tier 10s, your armor stands for just about 0. So we're in Live Oaks. We're on the bad side, but their team just decided they weren't going to send the ST-1, their T-30, none of their heaviest tanks, their T-29s, none of them came where they were supposed to, which is right in here, where they have the full advantage and they can keep us pinned down and have the hill firing at us as well. So they made a huge mistake right off the bat, and we were able to capitalize on it because we got our Foch, who is up here, and we had myself here, and we were just waiting for them to push because it's just typically what happens, so I don't get too aggressive right away. I'm just looking back to see if I got a shot at this 1390. I don't really. And I'm still really wondering why there's no one here, so I just decided to pull forward, and I'm going to take the middle street. And I'm looking over, seeing if I can help out that 12T, because he's way in over his head against the 1390. And I know I was spotted there. There's people shooting at this house at me. So I'm just going to drive around, get off the radar, and then get respotted again as soon as I drive across there. So now I've got to wait another 10 seconds to get off the radar again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out, and I'm going to try and put a shot into this ST-1. So I'm going to pull back, aim at his lower plate. Unfortunately, rolled stock average, and I didn't roll high enough to actually kill him there. So again, I'm side scraping out, I gotta show as least amount of my tank as possible. Get back into cover again. Nice roll on the super Pershing, a little bit above average. I actually bounced a shot from 2 tanks there. T-29 bounced me, and something else with a smaller caliber gun in the back. And I'm going to pull back again, no shot at him, so I'm going to switch targets to that AMX. Bounced another shot from the T-30. And I ended up bouncing about 1,000 damage worth of stuff in this game, and the upper plate ended up holding up pretty decently. So pulling back, got a side shot at the T-30, but even though you didn't really need to aim, I have smooth ride, I have snapshot, and the aim time for this basically means you can just pull out and you don't really need to aim for like more than like half of a second. So that shot, the other shot went high, that shot went in on the T-30. Now I can see that he was falling back, but the majority of the enemy team was still on the other flank. So we don't need 7 tanks to go kill a one-shot T-30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back, and I don't know what this Tiger's going to do, and I don't really care. So as you can see, the top speed usually is around 30 to 35 for the Caearnarvon on this kind of medium softy ground. One of the nice things about the Caearnarvon though is not the Caearnarvon, but the Conqueror. The turret turns pretty quick, and it really is just a light heavyweight. I kind of think if they don't make the turret any better, this tank should probably do a little bit more damage. I think that would be nice. I think it should do like 430, 420. Maybe not as much as an E75, maybe 450. But you got to look at the reload. The reload on this is about 9 seconds compared to 15, not 15, but about 13 with the E75. So there is give and take for either one. So we've got a 1200 HP T-54E1 here, and I'm fully aimed in. Put a shot into him, pen easily. I can pen this guy just about anywhere all the time. End up taking a shot from him there. Got a sliver of shot in there. He shoots and misses, and now there's his friend, and then don't get reloaded quick enough. Bounced another shot there. There's a Pershing back there shooting me as well, and I wanted to move forward to get into cover, but I saw that there was a Pershing and there was a T-29, and I didn't want to give him my side very much. So I'm going to pull back, and unfortunately rolled low on that T-54E1. And now I am going to go... Actually, no, I'm not. I'm just going to hang out here. Fantastically, that Borsig managed to go in there from far away and take out that last guy. So I can't really get clipped out too badly here. So I just decide to go in here, put a shot into the T-54E1, and shot here at the T-29, almost reloaded, and must have hit him in the tracks because there's no way I would have bounced his upper plate. I can go through his upper plate like Swiss cheese. And I'm going to get one more shot into him at that point and manage to do another 400 damage at the end of the game. So that game was pretty much, damage-wise, my conquering because I did 3,500 damage. The Foch racked up 5 kills, but he really only did 2,000. So that's not really that amazing for a Foch. That's only about 3 hits in a bit. But I guess he did chew up that many tanks. So he was probably on par for at least like 3 because he probably would have lost a lot of damage just from killing tanks. So between me and the Foch, we managed to clean up that game pretty good. And the armor actually held up and bounced some shots, which sometimes it doesn't really particularly do very well. And would have been nice to be able to finish off that T-29 at the end, but there was some people that decided that cap points were more important than us finishing off the rest of the enemy tanks and the enemy team. So generally, I like a lot of things about the British heavy tanks. I like the Churchill 1 more than the Churchill 7. I like the Black Prince more than the Churchill 7. I think the Churchill 7, the Tier 6 one, is about the one that I dislike the most, because it kind of goes from, like, Matilda's the Tier 4 heavy tank. It says medium tank. It's really a heavy tank. And then you go to the Churchill 1, which was a fantastic tank for a Tier 5. It's got a really, really, really nice gun. And then I didn't really like the Churchill 7 as much. I mean, you can do okay in it, but I didn't particularly love it. And then Black Prince was fun. Caearnarvon's really fun. And I like the Conqueror. I just wish there was certain things about it that were a little bit more competitive. Like you can see I took a shot in the side of my turret there. That might have been a shot like at an angle like that. So as you can see, the turret armor isn't fantastic on the Conqueror. But maybe with a few tweaks, maybe a few little adjustments, they could make the Conqueror a little bit better. But it's not Russian, so I doubt that's ever going to happen. So what you'll end up seeing here is this is the Tier 9. So the next tank down the line is just a fabrication, like the E50M that SerB just patented as his own creation. The next tank down the line is just another stupid wargaming creation. So I really, really don't even consider that to be a British tank. It's just some piece of shit from Belarus. So what's going to end up happening is that tank's going to get replaced by the Conqueror, oh, not the Conqueror, the Chieftain Mark II, from what I understand. And hopefully that tank will be a strong tank that can be used in random battles in clan wars and that sort of thing. Hopefully it'll have a really good turret, similar to like a T-32, but with a pretty smashing gun, and hopefully a decent upper plate if they're going to make the lower plate weak, like on just about virtually every tank except for the E3. So that's what I'm really hoping for. I won't even be... Even if I unlock the FV215B, I won't be buying it, and I won't be playing it. I won't be reviewing fabricated, stupid wargaming tanks that SerB's created and while he was sitting on the toilet. So this is kind of the last British heavy tank I'll be reviewing until the new Chieftain comes out, but I'm not entirely sure when that's going to happen. They've said that even the Action X Centurion, which is the Tier 10 replacement for the FV4202, they said that one's not coming in the next British patch, which is the 9.5 patch, which is bringing the long overdue Firefly, and it's not going to come in the patch after that. So I'm kind of hoping in patch 9.7 maybe we'll end up getting these two British Tier 10 medium and heavy tanks. I won't hold my breath because wargaming really they haven't really been doing too much. Like, we still don't have havoc physics, we don't have motion physics, we still don't have a lot of things that have really made the game better. I mean, we've got some HD tanks, but other than that, this game has really started to stagnate over the last few months with not a lot of additions other than a few new maps and some HD tanks. So hopefully wargaming gets on its horse and starts actually innovating and making this game better, as opposed to just slowly trying to creep the frame rate up, which still isn't good enough. The graphics still aren't good enough compared to contemporary other games in the market. So not wanting to rant too badly, but that's kind of where this review is going to end. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys again soon.